Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of Jerry What the What Diamond Podcast number 54. And today's special guest is the one and only no other than a very funny, out of control guy himself. He's been all over the capital region. He's been doing comedy now for like 4 years now, 4.5 years, working on his 5th year. He's from places like the Lark Tavern, the Low Beat, Hudsonburg Coffee Shop. He's performed at the Eden's Cafe. He's been in competitions at the Comedy Works, the Boston Festival competitions at Comedy Works, and he's in the Slaughterhouse, or Slaughter's Laugh It Up, I'm sorry, down towards Poughkeepsie. He's also been down in New York City a few times, Virginia a couple of times performing. He's a very funny guy, very unusual guy. Many people can understand him, and then sometimes they can't understand himself. It's me. What the what? That's right. It's been quite a year for me. It's been crazy. It's been a lot of ups and downs. I wish everybody Happy New Year. Hope you all had a happy Merry Christmas. This is my last podcast of 2017. Starting a new one next year. Let's see who wants to be in my podcast. I like comics I'm going to play on my podcast. I've had many this year I interviewed. I'd like to thank all the local area 518 comics. They know who they are. Dwayne Murphy Jr., Jay McBride, who's now living out in Los Angeles. David Shine, who's also living in New York City, but now is moving to LA soon. He's up here right now. I saw him at the coffee shop last night. He's gonna be here for another week before he goes back. So shout out to David Shine. He's come a long ways since I've seen him. He's very funny, and I love him. And all the comics I've interviewed over the past, Mike Cahill, Cody Montaigne. There's a lot of them out there who has been really wonderful. They've been in this for a couple of years, been doing it. Shabi Hussein, another great guy. He's very funny. There's been a lot of great comics that I've interviewed over this past year on my podcast, and you ever get a chance, check it out on the Jerry Dymond on my YouTube channel. So please check it out. People want to know what I'm about, and I never got a chance to do that. I was supposed to have someone do that, but she's no longer on my team. I had this thing called Team Dymond this year. I started that a couple of years ago, and it was a wonderful thing, and then things didn't go so well as it does, in the entertainment business. Things go wrong and things happen, and that's what it is, So now there's no longer Team Dymond. It's just what the what Dymond now. I like to thank people who helped me through the years, get me through what I've been doing. Carla Carey, who hosts the Low Beat every second and fourth Tuesday of each month. Now Shanahan, who's also does the open mic at the Lark Tavern. Very grateful for her. Mo Hoskins used to do it, but he stepped down, and now another very funny comic. And now Shanahan, she's originally from Massachusetts. Her and her husband Ryan, and they've been up here over a year now, and they've done a wonderful, great job doing hosting the open mic at the Lark Tavern. So thank you for all that, for all those opportunities. A lot of new comics coming out that I've seen over the past year, and they're funny, and they're just starting out, and they have a lot of potential in them, and they're going to be on my podcast hopefully sooner or later. And they're doing great. They really are. I'm graduate, 1988 class graduate, Ichabod Crane. I've been married, divorced twice. You've probably heard me say that on my sets there. I have 2 daughters. One just turned 23 December 2nd, and my other daughter just turned 18 now as of the 28th yesterday. So. And tonight we're going to go to WWE Raw tonight and watch wrestling, her and I. It's our birthday present. But I've been doing, like I said, I've interviewed a lot of people, and what people wonder what got me to doing what I'm doing. Well, a lot of us out there may go through hard times in our life. Sorry, I got itchy nose as the season. But I've been doing comedy now for like 4.5 years, and what got me into it who inspired me was late comics, the late before my time, Moulton Burrow, Bob Hope, people who even know who these people are. The late great Don Rickles, who just passed away this year, Jerry Lewis, another comedian who just died this year. They all inspired me into doing this, and I always wanted to do it, but I never did it when I was younger. I should have, but I didn't because I was married and I had children, so I didn't get the opportunity. My pride, my major thing was to take care of my family. That was my major thing to do, take care of my family, work, and do what needed to be done. But everybody at the place I worked at said, well, you're a funny guy, you got a great sense of humor. Even my teachers in school back then said I had a great sense of humor, that I should be a comedian. I think, I don't know about that. I never saw myself as doing a comic, being a stand-up comedian. I always thought myself being a family man, or whatever. You know, I grew up as a farmer, you know. I was born and raised on a dairy farm, and I did that for a long time. And then I got out of it, and I got into retail, or actually I went into factory work. I was doing factory work, and then I did that for a couple of years, and I got into retail. And I did retail for like 17, 18 years. I went anywhere from back then in Shop Estate, but now it's called Hannaford, and then in Ames, department store which is no longer around, then to Walmart. Walmart was there. I was there the longest. I was like 16 years, 17 years at Walmart. And I was a floor sales associate with a cashier, a department manager, a couple of departments. And then things didn't go well with that. And I still do retail now. I do a little bit of that. I work in a convenience store, and I do that part-time, but my main focus is doing stand-up comedy. Anybody in my family funny? Oh yeah, absolutely. My grandfather, my late grandfather, his name is Jerry Hostel. There's like two Jerrys, you know. He was always been the funny one in the family. He made me laugh all the time. He'd tell me stories and jokes. He's like a storyteller just like myself. If you ever seen my stuff, like he's a storyteller. He tells a lot of jokes and made me laugh every chance he came over. He was very unusual, kind of like me. You know, he had a light up bow tie he wore on special occasions. He'd wear it for holidays and special occasions, weddings. When I first got married back in 1994 to my first wife, he wore a light up bow tie at my wedding, and it was very funny. And of course, my mother-in-law wasn't too crazy about it, but my wife and I, we loved that. My grandfather was a very humorous person, and he carried that all the way through to his time in about 10 years ago. He was a very funny guy. He loved people. He was kind of like what I do. I love people, and I make people laugh. There's so much going on in this world that's not right, and try to make sense of it. And sometimes it's hard to make sense of it. And the best thing that makes sense out of anything is the laughter. I watch a lot of comedy shows. My favorite shows were, of course, Sanford and Son, All in the Family, The Jeffersons. There were sitcoms back in the 70s and 80s that I watched. Maud, another one. I mean, there's so many of them that I watch, and then I watched other ones like Kevin Hart, who's a very funny comedian on HBO. He's been on Comedy Central. There's a couple that just passed away recently too. Rafi May, who just passed away at the age of 45. He just passed away this year. He was a heavy man, but he was very funny and doing what he loved, what he did. John Panette, who passed away 2 years ago, very funny guy. As a matter of fact, I portrayed him a couple of years ago at the Ghost of Comedy at Lark Tavern. I did I'm Starving, and that's somewhere on my YouTube channel too, so you can search for that and check it out. This year I did the great late Don Rickles, you hockey puck. I love Don Rickles. He inspired me to do comedy too, so that's why, that's how I got into comedy. Is watching all these like great ones, and they made comedy the way it is today. People will say, "Oh no, it's Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle." No, they're today's comics. But the comedy started many years ago with George Burns, Milton Berle, they called it Mr. Television because he was the first comedian to ever be on television. And then so forth came on down the road. Lucille Ball, the great late Lucille Ball. I Love Lucy, which the great late Maura O'Neill portrayed that a few years ago. And she did a wonderful job on that. And of course, when she heard On Time in Passing, there still was the best thing she ever did today was playing Lucille Ball. And shout out to you up in heaven there, Maura O'Neill. I've done so many things in my life and things I'm not proud of, and it's just one of those things that happen, and we're only human beings, and I love doing comedy. It's portrayed in my blood. And I was dating this girl for 3 years, and she helped me with a lot of stuff. She helped portray me, make me like who I am. She made a lot of posters for me, and she made a lot of stuff for me. If you can see behind me, she did a lot of this for me. And of course, things didn't work out for us, and of course, it's my fault because I didn't pay enough attention to her. And the thing is, when you're doing comedy, and maybe it was the wrong thing for me to say, when you're doing stand-up comedy, you don't say comedy coming before a relationship, especially when she's trying her hardest to be with that person, love that person, to be and love that person, So I'm not going to mention her name. I don't want her to be embarrassed if she watches this. She probably won't. But otherwise, if it means anything, I'm sorry. I'm sorry things didn't work out for us. But I will always love you. You'll always be in my heart, and that's that. And I wish you the best luck in your future and doing what you do. But back to me. I've been performing all over the place, and I'm getting more. I got stuff about it for next year. As a matter of fact, I even hosted the open mic at the Comedy Works, which I was so thrilled of doing. So thank you, Tom and Nietzsche, and Mr. Grady, thank you very much for all that. I really appreciate that. So it's been really challenging. I've gone through a lot of challenges in my life, and the things I love to do, I love to go for walks. I'm a big avid Mets and Buffalo Bills. In case you haven't noticed, I'm wearing the Buffalo Bills hat. And I also wear Mets, so I portray them, and I always put that in my skit too. We have the worst two teams in the NFL and the MLB, you know, so kind of they are, but that is what it is, and I love the team. So regardless they're winners or losers, they've always been my favorite team. They have been, and they always will be to the day I die. Other hobbies I have, I like to go for walks. I love to go every year. I go to the Columbia County Chatham Fair. I also done a couple of talent shows there. I didn't win, of course, but the best one I ever did there was I did the first time I did it was playing disco duck. I did disco duck, and that was hilarious. Just in the duck suit, I had it all made up. My mom helped me. My sister helped me make the suit up, and it was hilarious. The Register Star, our local newspaper, had me up, and they loved it. Even though I didn't win, but it was so unique how I did that. So thank you for that. A lot of people who's been guiding me and helped me, and I appreciate everything y'all done for me. Ed Smythe, another great comic. He does molecules and is his skit, and he does songs, and he's a very funny guy. He's had me host Eden's Cafe a couple of times. As a matter of fact, I'll be doing it again in February 2nd. I'm also going to be doing a show with him at the Hudson River Coffee Shop in January 27th, I believe. It's on a Saturday. Check it out. Also doing another show with him sometime in June 2nd. We're doing some kind of it's a comedy type skit thing we're doing. We're doing a skit. It's some kind of I don't know what it really is. We'll know more about it when it comes to. We're going to be doing that. Kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for in that? It's like, we do like Laurel and Hardy. They do different things like Jerry Lewis used to do. Stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing, and so I'm looking forward to next year, 2018. Plus, I'll be interviewing some more comics. You know, I like to help other comedians go out there and get them out there doing what they love doing, and they all have their reasons what they do. And I've heard them on. And again, a lot of the stuff is on my YouTube channel under Jerry Dymond, so please check it out. So what's the whole for me? I've been down in New York City, and one of the guy who runs the open mic at the Hudson River Coffee Shop. His name is Tony Lozardo. Lorano, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's a funny. He does host the open mic every Thursday at the Hudson River Coffee Shop. He said to me last night, "You ever thought about going to LA? You know, you could do like comedy movies because I'm more like into. I could do like comedy scenes, like movie stunts." I said, "No, I like to do stand-up comedy. I like to do anything like do shows and crazy things like that, like you see on the air, like Chris Farley used to do Tommy Boy, you know." Other like maybe make like a comedy sitcom. Maybe I could do something like that. You know, like Tyler Perry Meets the Browns. Have you ever seen that? Or like shows back from the day when I was watching TV, All in the Family, Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, Maude, stuff like that. I could probably do something like that. But as far as doing stupid skits and falling out of airplanes and getting caught on things, no, I don't think. And knocking things down. Well, I could probably do something knocking things down. Good, knocking things down. Like Jerry Lewis used to do, stumble over, trip over his own 2 feet. You know, do something like that. But I'm looking forward to 2018, see what holds for me. A lot of people said I blossomed in the last couple of years, and it takes time. It really does. At my age, you know, I've been doing it for 4 years. Started late, and the reason why I started late because I was married and I was focusing on being a family man, you know, and I didn't really care about doing comedy until after my second divorce. And I really thought about it, and what got me inspired was Tommy Nietzsche, the Comedy Works, has been around since forever. And it used to be over in Delmar years ago on 9W in a hotel place there, at the Comfort Inn, I want to say. Don't hold me to that. And I saw a comedy scene there, and it was funny. I loved it. I loved the acts. They were all funny. I thought maybe someday. This was back in the 80s. This like late 80s, early 90s. I want to say 89, 91, somewhere between there. I was there. And then I went back there again after that. And then I went back again like 4 years ago. They were been relocated to Northern Boulevard up in Albany next to the Albany Memorial Hospital. I said, well, let me check this place out. I checked out the acts there, and I saw that they were, you know, you can sign up for classes. So I took a class there, and I met some really wonderful, talented people. Lauren Turnzak, I met her. She was in my class, and she's very funny. She's been out all over the place, and she's funny. She really is. And my hat goes down to her. They all work very hard to do what they want to do, and they all have jobs too on top of that. So it's very hard to juggle a job, your family, and to do a stand-up comedian. It's tough. It really is. And it's a lot of hard work. And I work hard. We all work hard. And we all try to be the best we can be. And I love each and every one of them. I think they're all wonderful and they're great and they got great potential and they're all going to go places. And I see them all perform all over the place and they are hilarious and they're funny. Dan Guerin's another one. He's been doing it for years. He's a teacher and he's funny as hell. And check him out too. And they're all, every one of these comics I've talked about today. Mackenzie Berg, just came out blossom. She's blossomed all over the place. She's funny. She's won a couple of shows. She won at the Funny Bones not too long ago, $100 for the class of the comics. So shout out to her. She's very funny and talented. Dre, she's another one. She says like lesbian jokes and like I love her TSA jokes. They're the funniest. I love her. I think she's great. She is very funny. Jay McBride, she does her transgender jokes, and she's very funny and talented. She comes a long way. She was in the Boston Festival competition. She won that competition, and she was so funny and great. And I love when she performs. Dwayne Murphy Jr., Brandon Sagar, another one. He's another local comic who moved down to New York City a couple of years ago. He's blooming. He's been up here a few times. He came back to visit his family and whatnot on holidays, and we would tag along and been great. They were all so great, and they come a long ways, and they work so hard. And the thing is about comedy, you gotta it's a passion. You have to want to keep doing what you do. And you gotta love doing what you do. Yes, you're gonna have struggles. Yes, you're gonna bomb. Of course, that's what you have to bomb. And I don't know anybody who hasn't bombed yet and then, wasn't happy about it. But you're gonna bomb, but you make it it's a lesson learned. You learn from that and you can become better at it. And you see what works, doesn't work. So, but I want to thank everybody who's been all my stuff this year, all my podcast this year, and thank Lark Tavern for allowing me to do my podcast there. They've been wonderful. They're a wonderful staff there, so please go there and check them out. Thank Tommy Nitchie for allowing me to host the open mic at the Comedy Works. I had a great time doing it. I hope to do it again. I performed there at the open mics there. It's a beautiful place. Now it's located in Saratoga at the Broadway there, 388 Broadway. This weekend there's a lot of comedy shows out there, so please check them out at the Egg, Proctor's Theater, Cohoes Hall, Town Hall, I believe, or City Hall. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Cohoes Music Hall. Excuse me, Cohoes Music Hall. Check it out. They just had a really bad fire. They lost a lot down there, and they're regaining they're rebuilding there, and they're getting back on their feet again. It's been a slow process, and all my thoughts and prayers go out to all the victims that they lost their homes out there as well. This has been a crazy year. A lot of losses, a lot of people going, and we lost a lot of great celebrities this year. So hopefully next year we'll lose so many celebrities. We all live once. We gotta live to our fullest. This is the thing, we have to live to our fullest and be happy and do the best as we can. That's all we can do. And my favorite shows, favorite movies I don't watch a lot of movies, but I watch a lot of old shows like Sanford and Son, John Panay. I watched Red Skelton, another great comedian who passed away a long time ago. Very funny. He does different things with Gertrude, and he's very funny. Black and white ones, Carol Burnett with Tim Conway. I watched a lot of Andy Griffith show with Andy Griffith and Don Knotts, a very comical sitcom show. So, and do I read any books? If it's comedy, I read the Don Rickles book that came out last year. I read that and I got into that. It was funny. I love the guy. You learn how these comics and actors and actresses became who they are and where they got, how hard they had to work to get there, and that gives you more passion to do what you want to do. As far as anything else goes, that's it about me. Everybody knows who I am and what I'm about, and I do have a problem speaking. I have a lisp. I talk about that from time to time, and I used to be a stutterer, which was really bad, but I got out of that mode to the lisp. It makes you who you are and builds character into you. And there's more to me know that no one knows about, and we won't be sharing it with you. Don't worry. But it's been a wonderful year. I mean, like I said, it's been a lot of challenges. I had a lot of losses. It's been a tough year for me. I lost my relationship with my girl, who I really cared about a lot. And I'm just getting myself picked up again. And a lot of people have been very supportive for me, and I appreciate that. And I love you all for that. Rob Gavin, Carl, Carrie, Blaze After Dark, they've all been wonderful. Chris O'Leary, love him. Tommy Nitchie from the Comedy Works, you're great. I love you, and thank you for the opportunities. And Carl Carey, of course, for the Low Beat, the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. Check it out. the second Tuesday of each month. So there's the opportunity to win a T-shirt. I won a T-shirt there this past year, so that made me very proud, and it makes me feel like I'm